plants, food, growing stuff.
Agriculture makes me think of ag hall. Ag hall makes me think of my college algebra class I took in 2004, and I got a D in it, so it brings back a bad memory.
Okay.
Livestock, farms, crops, I guess, food.
Well, I'm from Texas, so I always think of cotton fields.
My life. Production agriculture, wheat fields, cattle on feed, hogs on feed, chicken houses, food.
Oh gosh, well, I'm probably a pretty broad thinker with respect to agriculture. So since my background's in forestry especially, and I grew up in an agricultural state, Iowa, so the first thing that comes to my mind is good soils and crops like corn and soybeans, and now that I'm in Oklahoma, wheat and beef, pork, because of my background in Iowa. But because I've got training in forestry, I also have a pretty broad definition, so I include things like forests and all the things that come from forests as well.
I would say, I guess in a general sense, both animal and crop production. I come from mostly a production background, so I immediately think of the production side of agriculture. But now, you look in this department and we have a whole separate food science major, and so the food science side, the meat industry side, food safety is becoming a big field in agriculture.
Agriculture is defined as the science or practice of farming, including cultivation of the soil for the growing of crops and the rearing of animals to provide food and other products. This also includes the marketing of the products produced.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's always good to increase the efficiencies. You don't lose as much crop or spend as much to harvest or anything like that.
Honestly, I don't know terrible much about modern agriculture.
I don't know enough about it. However, I have food on my table, so I was in the grocery store, everything about that, so I assume so.
I mean, I just get a little here and there when I hear about it, and I hear that we're doing all right, but we need more. Yeah, that's as close as I've got to it.
It's important so that we have it enables us to have a smaller carbon footprint and produce more food with less.
Well, it's efficient in many respects in the United States and in some other places, but at a world scale, it's not very efficient.
Yes, I think when you look at the amount of production, whether you're measuring that in meat production or crop production, at the scale that we're producing it on, yeah, I think we've been forced, we've had no choice but to become extremely efficient in producing more, let's say, crops on less ground, and more pounds of meat more efficiently with less feed, and decreasing the time that it takes to get that animal, from birth up to that market weight and get them in the slaughterhouse.
Farmers have increased efficiency by increasing the amount of product that can be produced on a specific piece of land. New technologies like the green seeker allow crops to be fertilized more precisely so that the overhead cost for farmers is lowered. The use of irrigation systems have allowed farmers to use less water for crop production.
I don't know, 50 people, maybe my guess.
500?
Maybe around 100, but he is just one part in the chain of the whole food chain. We also have processors, feedlots. There's a lot of things in that chain just besides the farmer, although without the farmer, nobody else would have any food to process.
I just got back from Ethiopia in January, and the ratio there is about 1-to-1. So just about everyone there in some way or another, even if they live in a town, is involved in some kind of production so that they can eat.
Okay.
So yes, in the United States, the ratio is unbelievable, and we've made great progress. But in other parts of the world, it's not quite as good as it is here.
In the tens of thousands.
Today, the American farmer feeds approximately 155 people worldwide. In 1960, this number was only 26, and in 1940, the average farmer only fed 19 people.